What I love about this practice is that every single class is different. So the sequence that we practice today will be different from the sequence that you might practice with me tonight or tomorrow in a class with me. And the reason this is the case is, well, one, because every sequence has a specific set of goals and intentions. And two, because it mirrors the unpredictability of life. So we don't know what's going to come tomorrow. And we train ourselves on the mat to really face the unknown, to face that unpredictability. You know, this idea of life isn't going to get any easier, we have to get stronger, is a message that I like to deliver to my students on a regular basis. So I always say to people who can't get to a class, if you can't get to a class once or twice a week, at least have a regular practice that you do for 3 minutes a day, and keep it like a ritual, keep it a discipline, because we need that level of discipline to be able to get us through the day, to get us through the pressures of life. But we know that yoga has existed for about 5,000 years, and probably much longer than that. Now, yoga has many different schools and many different interpretations that stemmed from that original period. And you've got Hatha, you've got Iyengar. So Hatha focuses on the physical postures and breath. Ashtanga focuses a little bit more on the physical postures. Vinyasa is the physical postures with the flow. And Iyengar is about perfecting the alignment of the postures. What I like to say to people who come to me and say, well, you know, where do I begin? I tell them to shop around. Find a school of yoga that resonates with you. I obviously am a practitioner of Kundalini Yoga. I've been in this school of yoga for almost a decade. I practiced a decade before that of Hatha, but really it was Kundalini Yoga that changed my life. The reason I'm so drawn to it is because it works very quickly, because it combines all of those modalities to bring you a very deep experience of yourself. When we roll the eyes up and we put pressure on the brow point, the point between our two eyebrows, we are actually putting pressure on the pituitary gland, which makes yoga very different from other physical pursuits. And when we put pressure on this master gland, we are having an impact on the rest of the endocrine system. So all these, you know, the yogis believe that if the pineal and the pituitary gland are vibrating in sync, then all the other hormones are in balance. So the combination of the breath, the sound vibration, the eye focus, you know, and the meditation is actually changing your body. It's shifting neurotransmitters in the brain, and it is able to give you a very different experience than if you were going to go cycling in the desert or running on the beach. Most of us are actually breathing very shallowly. You know, the average person is breathing from here most of the day. So it's like short, shallow breathing. And when we breathe in that shallow way, we are much more susceptible to the pressures. We're much more susceptible to being reactive. You know, if someone cuts us off on the road, we're driving, boom, you know, we're out there, we're ready to kind of go in full force. So one of our favorite breaths in the practice of Kundalini Yoga is the breath of fire. And the breath of fire is a dog's breath, okay? It's like a puppy panting on a hot day. Except we do it with the mouth closed most of the time, and it's an equal inhale to exhale through the nose. Every time we exhale, we contract at the navel. Just doing that breath for 3 minutes has a tremendous impact on the body. I mean, we actually begin to make chemical changes in the blood in 3 minutes. Breath.
How does yoga work on stress?
Okay, so yoga, because we're having a very deep glandular experience, okay, and because we are working quite intensively on the nervous system with that combination of dynamic movement and eye focus and the mantra, we are really able to release those hormones. And when we release those happy hormones, we begin to alleviate stress. So there is the breath that brings us into ourselves, into the present moment. It reduces anxiety. Every good yoga class should have a conscious relaxation. So typical class will have between 8 and 10 minutes of relaxation, and it really, you know, it's forced time to relax ourselves. And really it's everything together that is bringing you into the present moment. Stress, and the problem with stress is it's caused because we are forecasting into the future. We're projecting into the future the whole time, and we're worrying, we're fearful. A lot of the times that stress comes from fear. Yoga brings us into the now, into the now. Well, yoga isn't just about what we do on the mat. Yoga is a way of life. It really is a way of life. It is about learning to bring the mind, the body, and the spirit into each and everything that we do. So the food that we eat, eating mindfully, you know, choosing to reduce the amount of sugar, the amount of caffeine, the amount of white bread and processed refined foods, maybe choosing to have a primarily vegetarian diet, not just because of the detrimental impact that meat can have on our bodies. We know that it raises cholesterol and that it takes time to digest, but also because of the impact that consuming meat has on the planet. So instead of going to sleep with the smartphone, putting the smartphone down 2 hours before you sleep and having a ritual, maybe a practice that you do if you're on your own, by yourself, with your partner, with your children, but just having something that you do that brings you into the now.
Thank you so much.
So rubbing the palms together is to balance the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Self-mastery. And exhale, sweeping the aura.
وصلنا لختام حلقتنا، وإن شاء الله استانستوا بكل الفقرات اللي كانت